Hello and a very warm welcome from our side, from the AMable team that stands around supporting SMEs in the uptake of additive manufacturing. This webcast today is about our open call, the open call number 6, where we again address additively manufactured products that SMEs have in mind, and we want to support them in trying out if that's a good product in the end, if the solution is viable, or what else needs to be done in order to come up with a good business case and to advance in that area. Now we have a number of open calls currently running. The first one is the product idea pitches. They can send in a short sketch of an idea that you have. We look through these ideas, we judge them, and the top ones will receive some support to be a bit more elaborated. So there's a 1,000 euro budget available that you can get in order to develop this idea. This requires that you do a product idea pitch in one of the AMable Experience Labs. That's an event that's currently done online due to the COVID situation. Hopefully we will be able to present that in a practical and direct manner in the near future. However, in these virtual experience labs, you would then have to pitch your product idea, and you would get some feedback from those attending those experience labs through a discussion, through an exchange. So something to really support you to come up with a good first step forward. Now there's another action that is currently running, which is under COVID-19. So we offer some support for ideas that address specific challenge sets. These challenge sets are published periodically on our website, and we address there the most urgent things we currently see. And the maximum support you can receive in those calls is 10,000 euros per selected idea. And the next submission deadline is October 1st, so it's only a couple of days still to go, but it's also only 2 or 3 pages that you need to write. Now, another call that just passed was a call on additive manufacturing and logistics in production. This was a very interesting one because it tied together a bit the supply chain topics or shop floor connectivity from different stages in order to support the production with additive manufacturing technologies. That one will be announced shortly, who the winner is and who is going to do that experiment. Now, a short disclaimer for today, then I quickly explain you what functional parts from our side look like, what AMable is offering, and then how the open call, the big one now, how that one works. The content of this webcast is being recorded, and we're going to upload that to YouTube so that you can refer to it at a later time. However, whatever I tell you today is only informative. So please look at the URL that's given there. You find all the documentation that is there, and please relate to the documents that are listed on the bottom. So the guide for applicants is the key document where all the rules for eligibility and for actions that you can propose are listed. There's also a proposal template which you can use to fill in your proposal, your idea into a proposal form. And there's the FSTP contract template, so that is the template contract that we would sign with you if you win support for your experiment. What are functional parts? There have been many parts being printed for the desktop just to show how structures look like in additive manufacturing, but we were talking about real parts. Here, for example, that is one of the first examples that we had in AMable, that is the end of a motorbike fork. Those riding a motorbike will know, the others might know, that steering is very important on a motorbike, and especially if you're heading like this guy in the photo, at a low angle to the street, and then you need a very, very stiff steering system, but it needs to be very agile, it needs to be very light in order to follow your command. And this was one of the ideas, to create that by additive manufacturing. So you see the sketch in the middle. It shows you the loads on the specific parts. So you reduce the weight by removing material where it's not needed, and you create a completely new construction that could not be manufactured conventionally. And this brings about advantages in steering, in reliability and robustness. That is a functional part. Another functional part, although you might not think about that one in the first place, is, for example, this vinyl disc cartridge. It is the pickup of the music, which is then reproduced. So this needs to be very stiff in order to transfer the roughness of the groove into the sound. But this one is usually manufactured of a number of small parts. And manufacturing here enables you to create a lightweight pickup system, which is completely from one part, so where assembly can't make any problems and where long durability is being expected. So again, advantages in the use time, and they come from additive manufacturing. This is also a functional part. So if you go along those lines, then you can use our offerings, and we've grouped then a number of service offerings, which I will explain later on. And we don't care where you enter the circle. So if you enter it at concept stage, so where you still think about your idea, want to look for materials that you might need to select, or for different options for constructions, or if you are in the construction stage, so you really run into creating a digital model of your product. If you go to print or to finish, no matter where you enter, we want to bring you through this stage or through all stages, whatever you need. All that is based on 3 distinct platforms. The business platform, where we provide support for creating good business case and looking into investments and how to bring that really into the market later on. The technology platform, where you get support, as I said, for example, for the selection of material or for simulation of forces that act on your product. So all the technical things. And there's a third platform, that's skills and education platform. That is, if you really want to prepare your personnel, your colleagues, to have a new thinking about design, then you can use those skills and education topics in order to help that change. Now, this is one of the services that I quickly want to explain to you. Sorry, I've got 3 today. This is the first one. This is visualization and immersive design. And I won't run now through the description and offering, but the key benefits, they are the thing that you should look into first. And that is to visualize a product. So to really come to a discussion with your customer, that you can visualize it, that you can see if it really fits the purpose. And also the lowest point there, enabling product customization, so that you can really modify your product to customize it to the requirements. Now, the design for AM service, that is one of the very well used services, that is to come up with a design that is cost effective. So it means where you don't have too much post-processing, where you do not have to have too much quality assurance. So to make it a design that can easily be printed. Also to de-risk the build, so to make sure the build is always possible. And that based on design guidelines, tools and resources. Now we've got a new service. This is the service certification. And this is a bit specific because we saw that quite a few people selected the service roadmap to certification and quality assurance, which is running under the number 315. And we wanted to build onto this. So to really enable you to go with us through planning quality, through planning reliability, through planning certification, and then also to go to certification. So this is a service that we do together with third parties. So if you look into service offering at the end of the first big paragraph, there's this service will be provided in collaboration with third parties, so with certification bodies. Again, each case is different, so we might need to select a different certification body for your case. But basically, if we analyze what's required, what you want, and what you need to certify, then this service really brings things into place. It is connected to external cost, so you will have to sign a contract with that certification body, but we will recommend you the most suitable ones. We will make a good offering for you so that you get a well-guided process there, and at the end you should achieve this certification. Now, we also have another offering, and that is a digital data chain. The idea came up when we considered how often data changes and how often designs are changed during their development process. Now, no matter now where you make a change, the option with our digital infrastructure is that you can always store the changes and document that you had them that day. So at the very first day, you will have an idea, you might sketch that on paper. You scan that paper, create a PDF, and you send that into the digital data chain. You get a hash key from that PDF, and you file this hash key into the blockchain documentation that we offer in this connector. Now, what you have from that is that in this blockchain, you have perfectly documented that you had this PDF without showing this PDF. So at any later stage, be it a design change based on a simulation result, be it a design change due to a customer request, all these changes can be documented in the same way without sharing the precise document. Only if at any later stage you need to prove that you had this document, then you will need to show it. Again, you use this document, then you run it through the algorithm, you get a new hash key, and if these two hash keys are the same, so the one in the blockchain and the one that you create in place, then you have proven that this file was the same file as the file in the very beginning when you did the change. So this is ensuring that at any stage through the design cycle, through the development cycle, you can prove what you did. The interchange of data, so if you really need to show the data, is depicted here in this diagram. So if you are a company that wants to use a service, and the service provider here on the right side needs that design file or that PDF or that calculation sheet, then you can send it in a one-to-one connection. So this AMable IDS connector ensures that the counterpart of your transmission is the right partner, and it ensures that the transfer is securely done through encryption. So you have both advantages in one place, that is, you send data from A to B, it is encrypted, and additionally, you can document that you sent this file to the partner. Again, it makes data exchange secure. It doesn't need to go to the cloud, but it's really going to the right recipient. You don't have to worry about intermediate storages or backups or whatever. You just send things from A to B. That's what we did in the past with paperwork. Now you can do this very securely with data in the digital world. I always say we, just a short glimpse into the consortium that is standing behind AMable. That is most of the renowned AM technology partners that are currently around Europe, and the organizations that support the technology development, and where all the experts sit. So any problem that you might have, we should be able to find someone who knows about the solution. On the data management side, there's Atos and the Industrial Data Space Association, who is providing this digital framework. And on the business analysis and consultancy side, we have Kimball, Strategy and Zabala, and training, we have EWF as one of the widest networks of training. And they also support the certification activities that are currently running. Now the open call, your opportunity. If you have an idea that is about a functional part, as I explained in the very beginning, if this part really needs AM to become alive, then you're right with us. You need to tell the story and also to sell its story. So you have to communicate what it is about, because we're talking about funding that is coming from the European Union and it is public money. And so we need to tell what you're doing, and you need to tell what you're doing as well. You can get support from the additive manufacturing competence centers. So it's all the guys that sit in AMable through these services that I explained to you, design, testing, simulation, scale up, certification, etc., etc. Let me quickly, very quickly jump here into on our website. You find all the different services, so you can go through them, check out what they are about, and select the ones that you need, that you want to use. Now, if you do that, then you can get funding if you are eligible under Horizon 2020 rules. That means you need to be a commercial company that is registered somewhere in one of the countries that are connected to the framework program Horizon 2020. You need to be an SME or a mid-cap. We can't support industry. We should not support industry and not individuals. It's really targeted to SMEs and mid-caps, so companies that need support to grow on additive manufacturing. Now, what you need to do is you need to write up your story. What's the idea? What's your AM starting point? So why do you need these services? You need to argue about that one. How does the idea relate to the state of the art? So if you reinvent a wheel, then it most probably will not receive support. But if your idea is new, fresh, and good, then please write that up. You need to present your business case as well. So you need to have a market to sell that product idea into. It doesn't matter if it's really going to be viable in the very, very end, but you need to have a perspective onto the market. You need to describe your development plan, so identify the risks. That also links again back to your starting point in additive manufacturing and the services you select. You need to identify the success factors, so which things do you want to achieve through your experimentation. You need to define the services, and that all can be done by checking out the templates, the guide for applicants, and then finally you need to submit your proposal. And that's it. Easy to go. Now we have two modes of experimentation. The one is feasibility study. That is short-term, low technology readiness level, so it doesn't need to be a final product in the end, but also has a smaller budget. You see the parameters for this in that table on the right side. The best practice experiments are larger. They are really meant to execute and to really implement a product idea, and that's the reason why you need a user in this experiment. So you need to have some company that is declaring and that is collaborating on achieving a first product and that wants to use this first product. With that team, you will be then able to have a larger project and go to TRL level 8. Now, how is it going to be evaluated? We have got external experts. We then do an internal listing according to the rules that are set out in the guide for applicants. And these external experts will look at the 3 criteria that are listed below: impact of the experiment and the anticipated result, the excellence of the idea, and quality and efficiency of the implementation. And here again, these criteria 1, 2, and 3 link back to what I explained on the previous slides. You need to describe to us what you think is necessary, what you want to achieve, and how. And then you're good to go. Financial support for third parties, that's the mechanism how we support you. So you will get financial support on the one side, that were the euros that were listed in the table, and you get our services more or less for free. So you can book a number of services with a defined amount of time, and that is the support you get. And the contract on the financial support to third parties, so this FSTP as we call it, is done between Fraunhofer, who is the project coordinator, and you. You will then collaborate with the service providers. So we have an organization or a scheme behind it where you will be assigned to a tutor that guides you through the services, and the service provider will provide you each of the individual services then. So finally, you will have to report to the consortium, and the consortium again, so AMable again, reports to the European Commission in order to make sure that the objectives are achieved. Call identifier, AMable OC6. Deadline is November 1st, so hurry up. This time it's only 2 months submission time. 1 month is still left, so you have 4 weeks and a bit to write up your idea. The budget that we're currently opening for that is 900,000 euros. Funding rate is 70% of eligible cost. This is just for you to note. We ask you for the cost in the proposal template, so please write into it eligible cost without overhead, so only direct cost. And there are 2 types of experiments. And that's mainly what I wanted to talk to you about. Call documents are found on our website, and the submission and inquiries on OC6 are under oc6@amable.eu. There you can put questions and get some feedback. Please be also aware that any requests that you send to OC6 might also be published. We want to make sure that it's equal opportunities for everyone. So if we answer something where we think it is not individual, but more in general scope, then we would put that into the frequently asked questions section. If things are getting too specific, then we might not be able to answer it. Because again, we cannot consult you in how to write, because we are the ones that are more or less going to evaluate it afterwards. So please understand that all the information that we provide in this webcast are there for you to make sure that you have a good proposal. And you might also want to look through our cases section. There you find a large number of experiments which already present what they were doing and how they're doing it. So if you check that out, then you should also be pretty much in the line to understand what you need to describe. Now, I see there's one additional thing about eligibility. Again, it seems I need to repeat again. Eligible are companies that are of type SME or mid-cap. So if you are mid-cap and larger size that is not really defined with the European Commission, then please ask if it is okay if we would consider you as to be eligible, because there's no clear rule on where mid-cap ends. It definitely starts after the SME definition of the European Union, but the step over from mid-cap to industry is not perfectly clear. So please ask us with a simple email saying what you plan to do, how the impact is for your company, and what's the financial turnover and the number of employees is in your company, and especially if you're in an international cross-linked kind of setup, or if you are only registered in one country. then we could help you on that one. And another thing, universities and so on are neither mid-caps nor SMEs. So all publicly funded institutions or universities are not eligible. I see another thing that is again on products. Products, we are only talking about functional products. So for example, if you if you want to develop a software, for example, in order to produce a product, then that becomes a bit difficult because we want to support not creation of infrastructure, and I would count software to infrastructure, but we want to support the development of products, so from ideas to products. However, now, if you need to modify software that you use in order to create your product, then that might be again back in the scope, as long as the main story of your proposal goes around the additively manufactured product. Sorry, the functional product that needs additive manufacturing to become alive. That's the official definition. So look into your idea book of ideas, select a good product, and whatever is needed to bring that alive, propose it. Yeah, and if there are no, there's no extension of the deadline. The deadline has been set. It is published in the open call conditions, so we can't deal with any, or we can't accept any submissions after November 1st, 1700 Brussels time. I think it was on the previous slide, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so if there are no additional questions, and thanks a lot. I'm pretty happy to answer your questions through the OC6 email address if you have any. Follow up our social media. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. So the latest news are posted there. If you want to receive our newsletter, the next one is going to come up either today or tomorrow, hopefully. Then just go to our website, register for the newsletter, and you get the most important updates directly into your inbox. Thanks for today. Bye-bye.